And one of my people that is in my membership said that he had a great win this week, and that was he did a $2,700 week. Now, that is awesome and amazing, but I want to talk about how to have a $2,500 week after week after week, month after month after month. And so that's what I'm going to hit on tonight of what are the things that we need to do to make sure that we are hitting our $2,500 weeks, our 25, our $10,000 months. And there's three things I want to talk about that will help us get to that of the $20,000 month, or the $10,000 month, $2,500 a week. And when you really break it down, it's not that hard. So let's get started here. First off, let's hit on the number one thing that I think is probably more important than anything else. There's a lot of things that I'm going to hit on that is important, but this one thing is the one thing that I think sets people apart of being a good business person or a business person that can grow a business, and that is communication. Communication, there is nothing more important than communication. Because I'm starting to do people's Google My Businesses and stuff like that, and the people that do have great communication, guess what? It shows in their reviews. They will say that you communicated with them very well. You answered your phone. If they had a problem, you fixed the problem. You communicated with them. You let them know when you're going to show up. You let them know when you're there. You let them know when all of the things that you need to do at the end of the day. So communication, I think, is the number one thing that will set you apart from any other pressure washers. On my Zoom call earlier tonight, I was talking about there's a guy that's starting up out of Charlotte, and they're not allowing yard signs down there in Charlotte. And he's like, well, what can I do to help me fight with the big guys? Because he's only part-time, and it's one of those things that you can go out there and be one of the big guys first off, what makes them a big guy? Well, they're probably spending money on marketing, they're spending money and stuff like that. And so, but communication can really set you apart. And when we communicate with our customers, this is things that allow us to raise our prices. It allows us to, when we raise our prices, now we can spend money in marketing. If we try to be the cheap guy, then we can't spend money in marketing. If we can't spend money in marketing, we're not growing. And we're never going to get to that $2,500 a week. Now, you might think that $2,500 a week is a lot of money and hard to get there, $10,000 a month. It's not. I'm going to be honest with you. That's $500 a day. Most people, average ticket is $500. That could be one job per day. One job per day, 5 days a week, that's 10 grand a month. And so it's easy math. Now, I know that there's cost goes in there. There's cost of, if you spend marketing, if you put 10%, that's $1,000. Yes, I said $1,000 for marketing to make that 10,000. So now we're down to 9,000. But communication is one of the things that I think a lot of people have a hard time doing. Answering the phone on that first ring, second ring, talking, communicating, emailing back and forth, texting, letting them know you're done, letting them know you're there, when you do that, you will see that in your reviews. So communication is definitely something that will set you apart. Number two is marketing. And I say it over and over and over. Marketing. I'm not saying equipment. Equipment's not going to make or break us. I've seen people do $10,000 a month in renting equipment. Yes, they have no equipment, borrowed equipment. Marketing. If you don't know how to market, it don't matter what you do. Because if you can't get your phone to ring, It don't matter how well your communication is. It don't matter how well your equipment is. It don't matter nothing. So marketing, marketing, marketing. Now, what kind of marketing? Well, I've had some guys have great success with yard signs. I've had some guys that can't put out yard signs. And so you have to figure out what works best for you. There's lots of different ways to do marketing. There's not one way to do marketing. I will never say there's one way to do marketing, because I know people that grow websites and do well with that. I know people that spend lots of money in AdWords and grow well with that. I know people that don't spend any money and they do Facebook and LinkedIn, and the dude's doing $500,000. Yes, $500,000 doing Facebook and doing LinkedIn. Now, those are some things that you can do that you can set yourself apart. The one guy was saying he's on a budget. He's wanting to do it part-time. Well, a lot of the big guys aren't going to be doing Facebook. They're not going to be doing LinkedIn. They're not going to be doing that stuff. You know why? Because they're big and they got big marketing budgets, and they're spending lots of money on website and spending $2,000-$3,000 on Google Ads. So we in the Northern Kentucky area, and the one guy does a little bit of Cincinnati area. One guy spends $3,000 a month in marketing, and the other guy spends $0. The guy that spent $3,000 been in business. This was his third year. This is his third year, and he did $250 last year. The other guy's been in business for about 4 or 5 years, and he did $500,000. The dude that did $500 spent probably less than $5,000 in marketing. Now, that's not good. It's just that's what he was able to get away with. He can't find help to satisfy his quota of hiring people to grow his business. And so those are things that I'll hit on that later. But marketing is definitely one of the pillars, or one of the blocks that you build stuff with, that you do it. So I'm out here. Somebody asked where I'm at. I'm actually up here in South Dakota. The other day we went to do the Badlands, and it was 90 degrees, sweating so hard that it was hot. I wasn't really sweating because it's a dry heat, but I was sweating so bad it was crazy. Today we wake up and it's a high of 63 degrees here. So I'm in a sweatshirt. But when we build a wall, we've got to do block by block. Some people think that we can just throw this wall straight up here and we're just going to have this beautiful wall and we're going to have this beautiful business. It don't work that way. I wished it worked that way. If it worked that way, I would be throwing walls up everywhere. It don't work that way. So, again, marketing is definitely one of the biggest things that is, when I see people struggling and failing, that is where their problem is. I have a guy in my Voxer program now that he's actually in my mentorship program, not just the Voxer program. I had a mentorship program, and he did $300,000 last year, and he wanted to grow and get to the next level. He's got 2 trucks running right now, and he wanted to get there. He's spending this much money in marketing. It's an old business, but the biggest problem he had was pricing. Yeah, pricing. Because he didn't know how to price. And this dude's in California, where nothing is cheap in California. Everything is expensive. So when we do marketing and we do what we need to do, we can grow and get to what we need to be able to do. So that way we can start doing the number 3 thing, and that is building systems. So, Jason, what do you mean by building systems? Well, if you want to grow a pressure washing business, and maybe you want to grow it more than just you. Maybe you want to grow it into more than just an owner-operator. Now, an owner-operator, you can do $150,000, $200,000 as an owner-operator, $250,000, $300,000 as an owner-operator, and take all that money in and have the most profit ever. You will be the most profitable at that point. Now, you're probably going to work yourself to death, and you're going to be doing a lot of stuff and staying up late nights and stuff. But it can happen. And yes, Big Rob, happy Father's Day to everybody out there. But it can happen. But here's the thing. If you want to grow this to a business and you want to not ride the truck no more, then we got to start building systems. And what do I mean by systems? I'm not just talking about systems on your rig. I'm not just talking about cleaning systems. I'm talking about systems for every step in your business. If you have a business and you have systems, that's where you need to be at. You need to be able to have a helper come and help you to get you off the truck. That helper needs to know, and it's not really, when you hire him, you're not hiring him as a helper. You're hiring this dude as a technician. And the reason why you wanted to hire him as a technician is so that you can get off the truck. And this is what I mean. He knows when he pulls up to the job where he's supposed to park at. He knows what he's supposed to do. He knows that $12,000 a month of July, freaking amazing. That's Jason working your ass off. That is amazing. He knows all the systems out there to be able to pull you off the truck. Now, when do you want to start doing this stuff? Do you want to wait, or do you want to grow, or that? Now, I know some people that had some money up front. He had about $60,000 up front, and he was able to grow to 2 or 3 rigs pretty quickly. But this dude also had business sense. This dude knows how to do business. And he had $60,000 to buy rigs, buy training, and a lot of marketing. Guess what? You can grow a business when you got business money. Now, if you don't have money backing you and you got to make it as you go, you're not going to be having employees right off the get-go. If you do, you better be pretty good at having a big sum of money back to pay him, or you're going to be losing him in the first, couple days. So, systems. So again, this dude, when you first hire that person, you got to have systems of everything to what he knows to do. When he pulls up to the job, he knows how to talk to the customer. He has an outline of what to say. He knows that he's got to do his walk around. He knows he's got to take his pictures. He knows he's got to tape the outlets. He knows all the systems of growing of that house wash, because that's system number 1. There's lots of systems in a growing business. How do I know? Because I did it. I started off as a one-man band, and I grew my business to where I had employees. I grew it to have 4 trucks, and that's how I know what I needed to do. And even my systems that I built today are way better than when I had it back then. You know why? Because I had failure. And what happens when you have failure? You build systems around it. Now, we don't want to build systems around every little failure that somebody has, because then we start micromanaging. Then we start having issues with our employees. And then we have rules for rules for rules for rules. And then we never teach our employees and our technicians how to think. Now, we need to teach them how to think. Can they troubleshoot? If they can't troubleshoot, we're going to teach them how to start troubleshooting. We're going to let them start troubleshooting and seeing if they're doing it right, and walking them through a system to troubleshoot. Why do we do that? Because we don't want robots that we have to tell them everything to do. Because if we have to tell our employee everything to do, then guess what? We don't have a business. We have a person that you're telling everything how to do everything. And that is not what we want to do. Now, we need to have these systems in place so that way we can grow a good business. We also need to have systems of how do we answer the phone from step by step. When the phone gets answered, what happens to that phone call? What system are we putting them into? Are we putting them in a jobber? Are we putting them into here? Are we doing this? Are we doing that? And so that is where we got to go to. Now, when is yes, it is good. You write an SOP for each truck and train by the SOP. And it's exactly right. In my pressure washing course, I broke down an employee part of it. The one whole side is not only how to clean, but the processes behind the cleaning. The chemicals, because We can't just sit there and say, this is how you pressure wash, and don't teach them about chemicals, because you're going to have a person get burnt with chemicals because you didn't teach them about the chemicals. You didn't teach them about the pH scale. You didn't teach them that you can't put acids with bleach and you can't mix and match. And so when that happens, and then you're going to have to write a system. And so that is important, of having systems in your business. Now, let's talk about the next thing here. Let's talk about when should we hire somebody? When and how should we hire somebody? And in this world, in 2021, people are making $20 an hour to stay home. So how do we find employees that want to work outside, and how can we do it to make it happen, to be able to do this? Yes, never, acid and base never mix good. They don't go well. And this is a good point, what Wallace put: hire women. They are customer focused, especially single moms, and opportunity in the industry, and the ladies will leave most boys in the dust. And that's a good point. We don't have to have some big, strong human out there doing this work for us. We can have, if you're doing it right, you can have females soft washing all day long. Even roof cleaning, as long as they can pull the ladder off, they can roof clean. And honestly, that's where I want it to be, is to do the house washing. And it's not only making sure the employees read the chemical ad or the SDS sheet, it's about making sure they understand the chemicals. A lot of times we're like, here's this chemical, and if this stuff gets on you, it will eat you to the bone. Oh, that's pretty interesting. I wonder, try that. No. Hey, buddy, this here is an acid. This here will clean anything that's in the organic staining. This stuff is some bad stuff. If it gets on your skin, it will eat it to the bone. So we need to make sure we get it right off. We also need to make sure that we have all our safety gear on. We have our safety gloves on. We have our eyeglasses on. We have our mask on. And you know what? When you're using this acid, as in me, Jason, and I'm showing how to use it, I have all that stuff on. I have everything that I need on. Why do I do that? So that way it's all protected. And you know what? Because if we set the bar here, he will come here. But if we set the bar here, he's going to come here. And then you're going to be mad because he's not up here where you want it to be at, because you didn't set the bar yourself and do what you say you do. It's just like when you get on a roof, and I don't recommend you getting on a roof if you don't have the proper gear on. But if you get on a roof without the proper gear on, guess what he's going to do? He's going to get on the roof without the proper gear on, without the proper safety gear, safety equipment, that kind of thing. So we got to make sure that we set these systems up so that way we can grow it. Now, I kind of gotten off track there. When should we think about going and getting to the next level of, when can we get off the truck? What do we got to do to be able to get to run this as a business? As an owner operator, like I say, you can do 200,000 by yourself, one truck, answering the phone. If you have a wife or a girlfriend answering the phone, though you can do 200,000, no problem. And I mean, this video, I was only doing, 90,000. If you work 9 months, doing $10,000 is $90,000 a year. But when do you need to do that? So, and here's the thing about this. There's systems out there, and if you're wanting to grow to the next level, there's no course out there that's going to teach you how to grow and how to get to the next level. There's no coach out there that's going to get some people to the next level. There is some people that you can get coached and you can get to the next level. Conquer is a great program. I've seen a lot of people go to Conquer and come out doing it. I've seen a lot of people go into Conquer that didn't make nothing, they didn't apply it. So if you're not willing to apply the things that they're going to tell you to do, and it's not going to be the easy things, they're going to be hard things. Because to get to the next level, there's one thing you got to know. You got to know your numbers. You can't be like, well, I think I'm going to spend $300 on some signs. I think I'm going to pay my employee $25 an hour. I don't know what my profit margin is. I don't know what I'm spending in ads. It just comes out on my credit card. I don't know any of that stuff. I don't like dealing with numbers. I made 100,000 last year, and I'm pretty comfortable. I'd like to have some employees and not be on the truck all the time, but I don't know my numbers. I've never ran my numbers. And when I mean running your numbers, I don't mean just some numbers on a sheet. I mean, you know the exact dollars, how much you spending in marketing. You know the exact dollars, how much you're spending in your insurance. You know, you have a P&L. You have a profit and loss sheet. You know everything. You either are paying a bookkeeper like Dan Plata, or you are going in there every week and making sure all your money, you know where every penny of that is. Because when you start doing that, then you know, hey, if I spend this much money, I'm going to make this much money. If I don't spend this much money, I ain't going to make no money, right? P&L, knowing where every penny is going. And so, you know, if we don't have a budget and we don't know our profit and loss and we don't know all of that kind of stuff, but yet we want to hire somebody and we want to, because here's the thing, when we hire an employee, guess what? It isn't just $15 an hour that you're hiring them for. You got to pay workers' comp. You got to pay payroll taxes. You got to pay a lot of stuff. You know, when I did it I loved doing when I had an employee, I loved paying them by percentage. Why? Because I knew what my percentage was. You know, at the end of the day, if I paid an employee $15 an hour, plus all the other crap goes on to it, and they take longer than I think, I don't know what my cost is at the end of the day. But if I paid them percentage of the job and they did 3 days, and I paid them 15%, and I knew another 10% was going to be for payroll taxes and workers' comp, then I know that 25% of my money is what's going to cost me to run that truck. And I knew that. And that's why I liked running percentages. And a lot of people I know that is grew businesses. You know, I'm in BBB, the beer business and BS. And one reason why I like being in that is there's probably everybody in there is very successful. Everybody is doing, and not everybody's in pressure washing. There's other businesses, but all the pressure washers in there are doing really well. Probably the lowest guy in there is doing about 250, 300,000. And the reason why I like being in there is because, you know what? Everything I've been telling you, that's what they do. They know all their numbers. They know what they need to do. You know, you can look at Bobby Walker. Bobby Walker has a screen saying, hey, we got to sell this much stuff. We got to do this much stuff. And that is what we got to do. When does the season start and end? The season can start, depending on weather, we're in Kentucky in the northern area, so it can start anywhere from April, May, depending on how far up or down you are, and it can go all the way up to October or November. If you're in the South, you go all year long. You know, in Florida, their busy season is our dead season. In Florida, their busy season is December. That is their biggest month usually, is December. And why is that? Because everybody's getting their houses ready for Florida. All the northern birds with all the money is coming down there and wanting their houses cleaned. So that's kind of when it is. And it's not to say they don't already have money down in Florida, but that's just how that works. Got to set a budget for everything to start out, and use software to budget your income and spending. You know, and there's systems out there to help you do that. Again, that's another system. You know, when I talk systems, I'm not just talking systems for this system of how to clean a house. I'm talking about a system of how to clean a house, how to answer the phone, how to get payrolled, how to get paid, how to follow up, how to do everything. Because everything is a system at the end of the day. How you're doing it now, everything is a system. Now, is it a good system? Probably not. Does it work? Maybe. So systems is what makes you and keeps you to be able to grow. And that is the important part of why you need to do your systems. Systems are very important to grow your business. And even to get to, to that $10,000 a month, it's good to have systems. Because if you build I showed this wall earlier, if you build this wall with a good foundation, it'll last forever. But if we have crappy systems as the foundation, I can push this wall over with just a little bit of a push because of my foundation was bad. So when we build that first row, it is very important to make sure that row is good. And when we build a wall, we do brick by brick, right? We just don't go, we don't just clip our fingers and our wall comes up there. So this is why we need to make sure when we're building walls, they're good walls. They're good, they're strong, they got good foundation, because a lot of times when we don't, that can do that. Even like a bookkeeper software, QuickBooks you can do it through QuickBooks. There's different things that you can do. A bookkeeper and that, there's lots of different ways to do it to make sure. Make sure to have someone special on hand, double eagle and such. Want to get started pressure washing, but we are coming up on rainy season. That are the cons of cleaning during the rainy season. I am thinking about it allows the growth, and you can clean in the rainy season. It's not that it's not difficult. I mean, in fact, I'd rather clean in the rain, because when I put my sodium hypochlorite up, it doesn't dry, it keeps it wet. So you can definitely clean in the rain. Now I know I'm assuming you're up north where the moth grows as carpet in the first place, so it would suck but you get your rain gear on and you go on. Awesome backdrop. Thanks, George. Hickory is not too far. Make sure to have some specials on hand, double eagle and stuff. And a lot of times we get into this thing that we got to have all these chemicals. We got to have all these chemicals on hand. We don't have all these chemicals. You know what? SH cleans a lot. I can clean a lot with just SH and a little bit of surfactant. I don't need all these chemicals. Does it make it nice sometimes? Yes. But here's the thing. When you got an employee and you give him all these chemicals in the back of his truck and he don't know what the hell he's doing with them, that's waiting for disaster. That's waiting for him to screw up something, screw up a door, screw up a window, screw up something himself. And so it is nice to have all these chemicals, and we got chemicals on top of chemicals. But again, it's not a have to. If I have a rush job coming up, then I'm going to order my chemicals for that rush job, because a lot of times, again, we have all these chemicals that we're paying money for, and we're not charging them back out to the customer. We're like, oh, you got a rush job there, I'll just clean that up for you because I got it on my truck and I want to see how it works. And we go clean this stuff up, and we never upcharge them for that. And so that is why, when we had to do stuff with chemicals, we made sure that we charged for it, because you paying $50 a gallon for F9 and you're not getting money back out of it, then we're losing money. And who wants to be losing money? I want to be making money, and I want you to be making money. I want you to be getting the most out of what you can, so that way you can grow your business. Because if we're spending all this money in chemicals and we're not putting that money into marketing to get more jobs, to get more phone calls, to get more rings on the phone, then that's the only problem. I use only 2 chemicals on a trailer, SH and surfactant problem. I think I underbid a job. It took me 2 days to finish, $1,800. Well, you learned something. You learned how to bid. Let's see. North Carolina is saturated with pressure washing companies. They're just everywhere. You sound like Jason of Florida last year. You can't make no money in Florida. All there is $99 guys down here in Florida. And you know what? He joined my Voxer program. And when he joined my Voxer program, that was one of the Voxes I got. And you know what I told him? You're not looking for that customer. You want the $500 customers. And you know what he did? He went out and found the $500 customers in Florida. And you know what he did last year? He did $150,000 part-time, because he's a full-time firefighter, and he doesn't work Saturdays and Sundays in the pressure washing business. Why doesn't he work the pressure washing business? Because he about died from doing too many days work, and his wife told him to quit doing it. So that is why. So that is, yes, there's probably a lot of pressure washers, but you know what? There's enough green out there for everybody. And it's all about finding how to do marketing that works for you. That is what it does. I live in Florida, 10-mile radius, 58 pressure washing companies, and I still get customers, but I will do it on the weekend. Happy Father's Day to you, MTH, and everybody else out there. Probably the fastest way to get jobs up. Let's see. You guys are asking a bunch of what you guys are talking tonight. I love it. I had some good information though. And if you want to check out the Voxer program, you can check it out. I put the link down there. It's kingofpressurewash.com/Voxer. I want to start, but there's a lot of competitors. I know I have the drive and ideas to make it work. Will I still get some customers? Yes, you will still get customers. Depending on how you're going to market, are you going to do yard signs? Are you going to do, Facebook, LinkedIn, website, stuff like that? But here's the thing. I want to hit on that website thing. Just because you think you build a website or somebody builds you a website doesn't mean, and you got a lot of competitors, it's going to be a little bit hard to rank. I know there's things out there that show that you can just rank and they're ranking number one and all this crap. Just be careful is what I'm going to tell you. There's a lot. SEO is a lot of snake oil out there. There's a lot of SEO stuff and there's a lot of snake oil. And what I mean is they're going to, this is what they're going to tell you. Well, it's going to take anywhere from about 6 to 12 months to start getting you ranked. And if you're not ranking, well, you're not going to get your money back. That's what it comes down to. Jason, I'm doing a small job using F9 and I charge $200. I upsell my special chems. Hey Jason, I got a pressure washer from my dad's lawnmower shop when he retired. Thought it was a 4-gallon, found out it was 3.5. What is the biggest surface cleaner I can run on it? Really about a 16-inch is what you can do. 16 inches. You could do an 18-inch, but you're going to be going really slow. Rust comes up with hydrox peroxide and baking soda. SH and oxy. Yes, I did. True Seeker, mega doses. No problem. I was in that same position. I wish I had started sooner. $900 a day isn't bad money, George. Nope, it's not. Nathan, yes. I know you put that question. You'll have to put that question. I don't know if you've got it here. Can SH permanent damage window? I don't think it could. I've never had an issue with SH messing up windows. I've had, F13 and assets will for sure. I wouldn't let it sit on there. It'll make them real spotty is what it'll do. Is door knocking a good alternative if you do not have a lot of money? Pamela, you can door knock, but I like signs. Signs, another thing you can do for marketing I'm going to give you some free, since you asked that question, I'll give you some free and cheap stuff. Facebook marketing. Get on there. Make sure your Google My Business is up and running. Make sure you got all your pictures on there. Make sure you're getting lots of pictures and putting them on Google My Business, putting them on Facebook. Nextdoor is another thing. LinkedIn is another thing. There's lots of things you can do on the free budget side of things. You don't have to go out and spend thousands of dollars and think you can get and think you won't get customers. You will get pressure washing customers. Like I said, the guy that did 500,000, he has been on Facebook and LinkedIn. That is where he got all his business from. Probably the last 2 to 3 years is where he's gotten all his business from. He has ran very few ads on Facebook. He runs a little bit of ads on Facebook, but not much at all. He does a lot of Facebook and LinkedIn. Those are the two things. Door hangers are good, and yes, the Voxer is still open. I got a link down there. The Facebook is good, and it works, but it's like anything. There's two ways to get business: time or money. You either spend the time and you do the things you got to do of doing everything, or you spend the money. One of the two things. You don't do both. I mean, you do both if you want to, but usually you're either going to spend money in ads and websites and all SEO and all of that stuff, or you are going to spend the time to get it done. So how do I remove stains from plant pots? What kind of plant pots? No, if it's organic staining, if it's the plant pot is the metal that's caused like a rust ring, then you will need a like an acid F9, oxalic acid, stuff like that. If it is just an organic staining, like the leaves and crap like that, then you will need just a pretty hard mix of bleach, SH. Mine things are face-to-face contact with business people, 5 to 8 customer cards, 12 by 8 yard signs, double print. That's another good thing I'll hit on too, is networking. That's another thing that is cheap or free or next to it, is networking. And even if you got to go to the Chamber of Commerce and you pay $10, $15 or something like that. Networking is good. And when you network with them in person, make sure you're getting their LinkedIn. Make sure that you are doing that so that way you can network and keep pushing forward. I appreciate the look at 1 to 2% on metal works good. Roof, and also make sure you don't use surfactant when you're cleaning a roof. You don't want to use surfactant. Can you make a 2021 truck bed pressure wash setup video? Would love to see that. Actually, if you want to buy one, I have one for sale. I haven't pushed it yet. I don't know if it's 100% for sale. One of the guys that is looking to buy it may not be buying it. I don't know. He hasn't called me back. And if he doesn't buy it, when I get back from my trip out west, it will be up for sale. If not, to answer your question, yes, I have videos coming for that. It's probably going to be the middle of July before they start coming out. I got 20 videos on how to build this rig that I'm building. And as long as my editor gets them back to me also by July 5th or July 6th, that's when they will start coming out twice a week. And I do have 20 videos on that truck bed setup, all from the buffer tanks to putting the thing together to all of that awesome stuff. So that will be in the membership too. That will be in the membership right away, because I'll dump them all in the membership of how to build a truck skid. So if you want to get them before the whole lot of time, then that's when it will. Otherwise, it'll be 2 a week for 10 weeks, because there's a lot of them. I'm about to quote a commercial concrete. It's black from people walking back and forth. Will that come up with cold water unit? it's going to come up. It won't ever come all the way up. Even if you use hot water, a lot of times it will come back pretty quickly. So what you want to do is use a good degreaser. You could call Russ. He's got some good degreasers. You could use EBC, stuff like that. And so that is that. He's got an editor, ladies and gentlemen. He's hit the big time. No, and it's just like in business. You know, I was spending 4 to 5 hours editing. I'm going to hit on this because, and I'll tell you, I'm going to give you a little secret here. This is going to be a little secret nugget here. So you better listen closely. So I've always been the type of person, and this is probably one of my biggest fallbacks, is I got to do it all myself. I got to do it myself. Nobody can do it as good as I can. And that was probably the biggest struggle of me coming off the truck. I was 2 trucks in and I was still on the truck before I was able to get off the truck, and we had our 3rd truck. So what I learned is you can pay people, you know, again, I say this all the time, that, you know, I can pay people $20 an hour task, $50 an hour task, $100 an hour task, $2,000 an hour task. And when you're working on the $20 an hour task, that means you're not working on the $2,000 an hour task. And so I was spending 4 or 5 hours on these stupid videos, and I realized they wasn't as good as they could have been. And they're still not 100% where I want them at. And some of that is even me. But I can dump this dude a bunch of video, and he'll get my videos up for me, and I pay him $30. Now, he's not in the States. He speaks very well English, and he's been doing my editing since January. So I can spend $30 and he gets me back what I want. And I mean, is it exactly what I want? No. Do you all watch them? Yeah. So it gets me enough that I don't have to spend 4 or 5 hours. I spend $30. That gives me 4 or 5 hours to do anything else. You can do the same thing. You know, for instance, say there's things that will help you grow your business. Like, for instance, building a website. Now, you can go spend lots of money spending a website and have somebody over in the States make you a website. You can also send it to people over in foreign countries, and they have marketing degrees, and the people that are probably doing, even when you hear, they're sending it to them. Now, they know who those people are and doing it, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time to figure out the right person, but these are things that will help you grow your business. For instance, you could have people write blog posts about your business. You know, you could go to iWriter and find people there. You can go for building logos, for, you know, Fiverr, freelancer.com, Upwork, if you want a better person with a little bit more. And they can take away these tasks for you, so that way you can work on the $2,000 an hour task, and they can work on the $5 an hour task, the $20 an hour task. And when you do that, again, it's about systems, right? Building systems. That's how it works. For instance, the guy that I'm working with on the Voxer, he's in my mentorship, and he's paying a person that is putting all his data in his CRM. She's answering the phone across the country or across the world. She's doing a lot of things, and he's paying hardly nothing for this person to be able to do all these things for this. So that is why you want to work on the $2,000 an hour task and not the $20 an hour task. You know, I'm paying $30, and it was taking me 4, 5 hours, and I wasn't happy with what I was doing with my own stuff. Now, did it take some time? It took me 4 or 5 different guys before I found this guy. But now that I found this guy, I dump him all my videos. Like I say, I just dumped him right before I left this trip. I dumped him 20 videos, and I told him I'll be back around July 6th, 7th, and he'll have them all done for me. And I paid $30. So I paid $500, and he's done all my videos. Some of my videos are 5 minutes long. Some of my videos are 30 minutes long. So that is why you do that. Even your porn, well, I don't know if anybody would want to see that. So that's probably not going to be the best spot. So I use the Google free site, has a quote button and call button. It working good for me. Hey, awesome. And I've seen them rank. You can rank those too. I need a website. I have a guy that I'm thinking about building out sites. I'm going to have him build me if somebody wants to be a guinea pig, and I'll probably do it for cost of a site, and it's a lead generation site, which will work well for you because we can also make it into a site for you. And it would probably run anywhere for probably around $600-700. And that way, that's pretty much my cost right now. Maybe, I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. But if you want to, let me know. Send me a message. And for that price will only be one person because I want to see how it looks. If it doesn't look good, I'll probably use somebody else. And I know it's going to be more money, but that's what it is. So send me a message and then I'll pick somebody. And here's the other thing, guys. It's not going to be happening today of the information that I'll need. It would be the middle of July before I can actually get to it. So I may be able to do some of it while I'm on the road, but it's not the easiest while I'm on the road. So with that, do you think Arizona is a good place for pressure washing? I do know some people that have pressure washing businesses in Arizona. Most of the time, they're doing the window cleaning and stuff. It depends on what part of Arizona too, I guess. I do know some people, like when you get foot traffic and you're doing a lot more of the commercial stuff is what you're doing. How do you know if your website is ranking? Go to ubersuggest.com, and there you can put in your website and it'll tell you if you're kind of ranking or not. And if you just started it, you're probably not ranking, just to be honest with you. Another way you can do it is put your phone into incognito and try to do it that way. Try to use somebody else's phone and type in pressure washing, stuff like that, and see if that'll bring you up or not. If you just started it, you're probably not ranking, though. When you Google your name and it shows up in the map suggestions, how do you get that? I'm assuming, how do you get that? You got to do your Google My Business. Again, this is where we're doing our pictures. We're getting our reviews. Location is another thing that causes that. So there's several things that causes you to show up into the map system. But those are some of the things that you got to do. My mind is stand out, not blend in. Out of the 6 pressure washers in Hickory area, seems they all have the same website style. Mine has to be different. And here's the thing. This is the problem with there only being 1 or 2 people making websites out there. They're all the same looking at the end of the day. They don't change them up. They have the same template, and they're charging everybody the same price for that same template. So you're right about that. Is the pressure washing business getting oversaturated? I feel everyone is doing it now. Here's the thing, it ain't no different than any other year. I've heard this complaint since 12 years ago when I started, 10 years ago when I started. Oh my God, we're just spoon feeding these people and we're just oversaturating it. We're gonna be the landscapers next. I've been hearing it for 10 years and I'll probably hear it for another 10 years. Here's the deal with it. If you show up and you do good work, you'll grow a business. How many more Christmas light classes are you going to have this year? I'm planning on having 2 to 3 Christmas light classes. And that would be, I'm planning on having one in August, probably having one in September, and maybe one in October. So at least probably 3 of the Christmas light classes. And again, Christmas lights is a great moneymaker. You talk about pressure washing being a great moneymaker. It ain't got nothing on Christmas lights. Christmas lights, you can make buku loads of money off of Christmas lights. You can go check out my site at christmaslights.com or christmaslightshelp.com. I don't even know what it is now. Haven't been there in a while. If you go to christmaslights.io, you can buy Christmas lights there, and you can find my training there. I do a online training. I'm getting ready to revamp all of it, though. I'm going to put all new trainings in it this year. I'm getting ready to redo the way it's sold and the whole 9 yards. What is the argument I have towards a customer who says Joey does driveway cleaning for $99, but I do it for $175 and $125? Just show up. How can I convince? Well, you ask, first off, does Joey have insurance? If Joey does something and breaks a window, is he going to be able to pay for it? If Joey does something and gets water into your house, is he going to be able to pay for it? And so doing those things will help us get that. There are some guys in the community that worry about their competition than they do about themselves. So much what time wasted. And that is a good point, Truth Seeker. This is what I always tell. Don't worry about your freaking competition. If you're worried about your competition, go to the 5-star reviews, hit the 1 stars and see what they do bad so you can do it better. That's the only thing I want you to do with the 5-star reviews and worrying about your competition. Don't worry about your competition. You can worry about your competition all day, and when you're worrying about your competition, that means you're not staying focused on where you need to be at, what you need to do. If they're doing this, who cares if they're doing it? You can figure out what works for you and focus. When we shoot at a target and we don't stay focused, we're going to miss the target. But if we shoot at a target and we stay focused, we will hit the target every time. And if we keep hitting and practicing, we'll hit the bullseye. And that is what we're looking for. My business is ranking 21st on Google with search in my area. Do we set up a new company, website, banking, and so on for Holiday Light? I am assuming so. I did not set all that up. I did it as a DBA, and I added it to my insurance. If you do it as an add-on, it's not as expensive. So that is what I did, because you could set it up as its own entity. I would do its own website and its own Google My Business. It is best to do that. But we did it as a DBA. So what I mean by a DBA is doing business as. I'm number 1 in Cynthiana, but freaking who cares about Cynthiana? Cynthiana, nobody there. You're right, Truth Seeker. I was once worried, but no more. And my first 2 months are way better than expected. That's awesome, Big Roger. I know you've been hitting it hard and doing awesome, and that is awesome. And it took you forever to get started, but you finally did it. I live in a population of 35,000 city, and no one is roof cleaning there. I will be soon. I want to take your classes, but I need to get up and running to be able to pay for it. So help me with pricing. Charge a lot. Don't underbid yourself. I do have a class coming up July 9th and 10th. You can go to check out tractiontour.com. It's with Bobby Walker and Dan Plata. So he's going to actually help you set up your business with the business and talking all of that good stuff. How should I charge for awnings that aren't that dirty? There are 60 total. 30 are single door and 30 are store floor front. I quote at $2,900. That might take you a little time, depending on how bad and how much scrubbing you got to do. Nicholasville is a place and mansions everywhere, even Lexington. I came across with my competition in the same neighborhood. He's charging $150 for a 2-story house. I did it for $375, and that's a great point, George. Let's hit on that. Just because there's $99 guys in the area doesn't mean he's going to get to work. I talked to one of my guys that's in the membership that I talked on the live, and he's up in Canada, And you know what? He raised his prices, and he got more jobs. Sometimes we think we have a mindset that we have to be the cheapest, or we got to be at a great price. And that's the last thing we need to do. We need to be where we need to be at to be profitable. If we're not profitable, then why be in business? You can go make $15, $20 an hour and work at Home Depot or anywhere if you show up to a job, a job, and make that. So if you're just going to make that in your business, it's not worth it. It's not worth it at the end of the day. It is way better to make a lot more money and be able to grow our business, because when we charge that $375 versus $150, do you think the guy that's making $150 is spending any money in marketing? Do you think he's going to spend any money in marketing? And even if he does, let's just say he spends 15 or 10%, which is $15. Do you think you can get more marketing off of paying $15, or the dude that's making $400, $40? Can I spend more money doing $40 or $15? And so that's why we got to raise our prices. Do I really need hose reels for my garden hose and pressure wash hose? Yes, you do. Otherwise, it will take you an extra hour to keep moving up. JOB, just over broke. That's right. You'll never get ahead just over broke. Are there streams the same time and day every week? Not sure if this got answered already. I do my live streams every Sunday night and every Thursday night at 9 o'clock is when I do them. I make about $75 per hour or more. Putting out 500 flyers this week. Excited to see what happens. Excited to see what happens. One-man truck. You're too cheap, Roger. Yeah, $75 an hour is not where I would shoot for. I would shoot for $300 an hour. And yes, I said $300 an hour is where I would shoot for. And if you're scared to shoot for that, at least try to start shooting for $200. You can do it. It's out there. You can make the money. Finally bit the bullet and got a new website started. I recently upgraded at 5.5, 3,000 cold water. I washed a 5,200 square foot house with a big porch and a small gazebo. It took me 7 hours and I charged $1,400. Most money I ever made in a day. That's awesome, dude. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Life-changing stuff. I love life-changing stuff. What surface cleaner do you recommend for a 4.5 gallon? I would probably do an 16, 18 inch. What would you charge to help me with my pricing? I want the $1,500 ticket. The Voxer program, if you want access to me, the best way is the Voxer program. kingofpressurewash.com/Voxer. Otherwise, you can join my membership and I talk all about how to get it up and all of that good stuff. Kingdom Living, just retracted. I want this $1,500 ticket. Honestly, when we're talking about higher tickets and stuff, it's all about lead flow. I talked about the 3 things that we needed, and one of them was marketing. To be able to get higher ticket, we got to be able to do marketing. We got to be able to get that phone to ring and ring and ring. If you can't get that phone to ring, it just doesn't do us no good. When I say getting the phone to ring and we're only closing 50% of the job, that means you're getting 5 no's for every 5 yeses. Now, can we get more yeses? Well, yeah, we could be cheaper and get more yeses, but cheaper does not do anything. The membership is awesome. Just started pressure washing, got 2 jobs lined up and a driveway clean. Thinking about mixing SH and Eliminator. What's your thoughts? Yep, that's what you do. My thoughts is go check out pressurewashhelp.com/free and learn how to clean is what my thoughts are. And you get 30 days free in the membership. And you get to do Zoom calls that you can come in and ask questions of any questions that you get. So I do that twice a month. How much do you spend in SEO a month? If you want good SEO, you're going to spend about anywhere from about $800 to $1,200 to $1,500 a month is where you will be at in SEO if you're not doing it yourself and figuring out how to do it. SEO is not cheap. Now, there's a lot of people that will sell you snake oil and that kind of stuff, but good SEO. Now, there's other SEO out there that they might be able to get you ranked a little better, but that's where it is. So with that said, we're at an hour, and I don't like keeping you all any more than an hour. I know I got a pretty good crowd on here tonight, and I love that, and I appreciate that, and I thank you for that. I have in my membership, I'm going to start doing some things that I'm going to start changing things around, and I'm going to do stuff to help people get business, because what I've learned and what I'm seeing people helping to grow is they have struggles getting business. So what I'm going to start doing, I don't think it'll be this month, but I'm going to start in July, and you guys can hold me accountable, is I'm going to give you either, I'm going to do it once a month or I'm going to do it once a week of what you need to do this week. You need to do this, and this. You need to do Facebook here. You need to do a LinkedIn post here, and you need to do this. Hey, 4th of July weekend's coming up. And so I may try to do it on the month, so that way if you're looking to do any marketing stuff, you can plan out. If I do the month of July, the month of August, hey, summer's ending, get your house clean, da-da-da-da-da. And so I will teach you a little bit of thing, and then that way you will be able to know, hey, I need to go Facebook Live on Monday. Oh, you mean you got to go Facebook Live? Yes, you go Facebook Live, or at least post stuff. And so that way we can keep stuff. And yes, we've slowed way down. You probably will. It's going to happen, but we still got to keep marketing all through those slow months, so that way, as Jason said, we got to keep sowing our seed even in the summertime, even in the slow months, so that way we can, when it does pick up, you'll take off, and you're planting the seed and you're watering that seed all through your slow months. And then that way, when it comes good month, you'll be so booked up, you won't know what to do. You'll have so much work, you'll be able to be booked out for 2 months like Nick is, and start raising your prices. Now, I would raise my prices way before I ever get booked out 2 months ahead of time. That means you're too cheap and you're waiting too long. So them are some things that you got to do. So I'm not going to jump off here until I get 4 more likes. 4 more likes to get, there's 2, I only need 2 more. Anyone know the slow month in South Florida? Yes. August, July, August. You also will be slow in probably February. February can slow down a little bit. So hit that like, folks. There we go. We're getting it. Thank you, Jason, for the great content. Thanks, Jason. As always, enjoy your vacation. June is looking to be half of May. Get it, Jason. What is that? What do you mean, what is that? I don't know what you're asking there. But hope you all have a great week. I'll be back on Thursday night. I don't know where I might be in Tulsa. I think I'm going to be in Tulsa Thursday night. I might even have Luke on with me Thursday night in person. I'm going to do a ride along with Luke, as long as he's got some. Why are those slow months? Sorry. Those are slow months because people go on vacation and they're spending their money elsewhere. That's why. Thank you, Jason, for all the information, teaching a man how to fish. And that's what my goal is, guys, is to teach you how to fish so you can be successful, and so that you can grow a business and to change your life and to change your kids' future. And because I understand that if I can help you do something that you would have never done before, or if I can encourage you to do things that you probably would have never done before, that is my goal. That is what I love doing, and that is where I will keep going until that is what I feel my calling is to help you grow your business and be successful, so that way you can change your life and your kids' life and your family's future. Have a great day, and I'll see you on Thursday.